There we go. Wow, it took YouTube 28 seconds to connect. That's bizarre. I have never seen that before. Wow. Let me set up my screen here. I still don't think the goal button is working, but I'm going to set it up anyhow. Oh, already 2 thumbs up and I haven't even started yet. Hey everybody. Yeah, let me just get this screen set up. I'm going to try this link one more time and then I'm going to give up. I'm getting frustrated. I tried 3 times yesterday to set this up. And apparently I need to put the HTTP colon forward slash before the link or it won't go into the channel. And since there's only like a few people here, this will give me a chance to try this. Let me see if it works. There we go. I think I did it. Kathy, can you see the link, my dear? And I'm going to pin the message. It'll be at the bottom of my chat. Hey, Phyllis, Rita, and Kathy, welcome in. Wow, already 4 thumbs up, and I just started. You know, hey, Boston Bill. Let me see if I click this myself, if I can see this. Okay, somebody asked me to put this in. It's taken me a week to figure this out. Now, I also had to delete my app multiple times. There is no way to clear the YouTube cache in an iPhone, apparently. So I had to delete it both on my screen and delete it from my app list and reload it twice. Hopefully that will fix the super chat issue because YouTube Studio says all the super chat issues have been fixed. And if your goal button isn't working, it's your fault. I don't think so. You can see it. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Janice Langley. And by the way, I just left the mod on. I adjust it daily, but I just left you on there for now. Will I keep that? I don't know. I'm still like up in the air about mods, but you've been a great help. The evening video was a disaster as far as people coming in. People just want to talk about Nancy Guthrie. And if we want to beat this into the ground, I guess we can. It's May 29th, and I'm April Davis PI. I'm a licensed PI in Los Angeles, California. Yeah, it is day number 118. I can't believe this. Wow. They're just rehashing the same stories again and again and again that we've already talked about, as far as Savannah hiring private investigators, allegedly. Savannah allegedly spending 500 grand on these private investigators, allegedly. Their backgrounds. They're even staking out the neighborhood. Like, they see them. They're sitting out there on her street. They're watching her house. Oh my effing God is all I can say. Give Savannah a break, everybody. And for all these yahoos that have the manifestos that they need to send to her, stop calling Savannah or trying to call Savannah or sending more crap mail to the Today Show. Just let the police and the FBI handle this. I'm sure she's harassed all the time anyway because celebrities are, but now, all the extra people they have to hire at NBC just to go through all of that. Just give Savannah and the Guthrie family a break here. They also rehashed the story about the bones. The single bone has become an entire skeleton now. Hey, Emerald Eyes, how you doing? Yeah, apparently anthropologists went out there. They recovered an entire skeleton of a set of bones that are believed to be Native American to the area based on things that were found, like pottery, ceramics. They've since been turned over to a local Indian tribe. Thank you, Janice Langley, for the gold coin. I appreciate that. And over on my desktop, it says Janice Langley sent a gold coin for 10 jewels. Now, on my phone that I'm recording this on, it just says sent gold coin. So thank you. So that converts to me, or for me, 5 rubies. I appreciate it. You're the first. You're the first one of the day, and I just started. We will see if anybody happens to come in. It's not necessary, but if anybody wants to test out the goal button, we'll figure out if that's going to work. Hey, Leanne Rayner, didn't see you come in. Sorry I missed you. On my phone, I can only see like 4 or 5 messages at a time. Let's see. But at least I figured out how to put the link in. I know how to link a video. I've done that before, but I have to do it on my desktop. It won't just work on my cell phone. Now, you know, like I said, they're running out of things to talk about. And they're rehashing the same BS over and over and over again. But today, there's actually a good one that's out there. It's a good story. And apparently, some of this dates back to 2011. This story is so old, some of this information, that I actually had to research. Maybe I could take off my sunglasses. Yeah, I drove to the mailbox today. Don't let me forget to tell you about the haul that I had today. But they're rehashing some story from 2011. Kathy Mallory. Let me find the hype button. Well, you know what? I see your super chat, but once again, the goal button is still broken. And I don't think that that is my issue. Just like several weeks ago when I would try to go live and you couldn't hit start and the video wouldn't start. And today it took 28 seconds to come on. It kept saying that it couldn't connect. Like, what do you mean it couldn't connect? It's not my internet. Like, what's going on? So thank you. So everybody just ignore the goal button, whether you're on a computer or you're on a phone or an iPad or you're watching on the TV. Wherever your goal button says 0 out of 10, just erase that. In fact, let me just try to, I wish I could just take it out of here. I'm just going to close that. Well, I closed it, but it's still there. See, that's broken too. You can't remove the goal now. Yeah. So there's this story that I actually had to do some research on. It's probably not true. If it is, it just further creeps me out about this person. Uh, I looked up Annie and Tommaso to see how long they've been married. And according to Google, Google owns YouTube, people. But they're not the end all of end all. But, they're a pretty big company. They claim that Annie and Tommaso have been married since 2006. So I would, estimate about 20 years, depending on if it's the beginning of the year or the end of the year, but 2006. Hey, John Feldbush. Thank you for saying that. 29 people. Thank you, John. 29 people and only 9 likes. And by the way, I'm only one sub away from my little LaMetric clock going ding, ding, ding. I'm only sitting at 3089. Uh, uh, I have no idea what you're talking about, Elijah Man. I have no idea. Let me get to this story. And let me warn you that this is just a story. Hey, Sassy Granny, my friend. How are you doing in upstate New York? This is just a story. And it has been, I don't know if it's legit or it's fabricated. It's from, I have no idea what you're talking about, Elijah Man. I'm just going to take that out because, I've had to tell you twice. I don't know what you're talking about. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. We're talking about missing Nancy Guthrie, America's grandmother, day number 118. Now, listen to this story. It's not too long, but it's a little creepy. Nancy Guthrie Annie's alleged talks with other men surface. Now we're talking from 20,000 or 2011. Investigator shares Tommaso's photo with another lady. Like they're really reaching people in the press. Even Brian Enton went crazy the last 2 days, and I'll tell you about that later. But listen to this. It says while the search for Nancy Guthrie continues, alleged old conversations of her daughter Annie with other men have surfaced. Ooh, scandalous, right? Nancy Guthrie is yet to be found after her family reported the 84-year-old missing on February 1st. Authorities believe Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother was taken from her home the night before. As the night before what? The night before February 1st? No, she was taken on the morning of February 1st. We have video evidence that kind of almost proves that. As the search continues, 3 months on, no, we are 2 days from 5 months, but we'll be at the end of the fourth month in 2 days. Daughter Annie Guthrie's alleged messages with other men have surfaced. Oh my God. A self styled investigator also shared an alleged photo of Annie's husband and Nancy's son in law, Tommaso Cioni, with another woman. Listen, let me just get to that. Annie and Tommaso have squarely been in the public eye since News Nation journalist Ashley Banfield had reported towards the start of the case that he might be considered as a prime suspect. However, this was quashed by the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the top cop, Sheriff Chris Nanos himself. Yes, Sheriff Bananos. Uh, then it says, also read Nancy Guthrie update, ex Colorado cop shares chilling wrench attack theory. Yada, 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 yada. Now hold on. Now it jumps. It jumps. Let's see. Okay. It jumps from the Hindustan Times. It jumps from that they're both seen with other people. Uh, and then there's a wrench attack. Okay. Okay, that was said about Annie Guthrie. Why don't we just skip to that? I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. The person sharing the screenshots of the alleged conversations wrote on X, like, that's the Bible. Annie, Annie Guthrie, her old Facebook post, comments to other men. In an alleged message Annie had written on one Frank Rollins' wall. No, Rollins. Who was Frankie Rollins? Saying, do you need a salty birthday brownie? I don't even want to ask what that means. As the conversation continued, Annie allegedly told him, I'm going to, salt your head. I don't want to get demonetized here. This is an alleged exchange from 2011. What does that have to do with Nancy Guthrie? Hindustan Times, come on. In another alleged talk with Rollins, Annie had said, are you ready to eat and play? That's disgusting. As the conversation continued, Rollins allegedly said, it's on. Come to my readings on Thursday, yo. Smile at me from the chairs and added, whoops, meant to add that I'll bring my whip. What? To this, Annie had allegedly replied, what time on Thursday? That's when I was having you over. Love, Alyosha? Who the F is Alyosha? Another alleged conversation with Rollins was shared where Annie wrote, I miss Rama. Okay. The other alleged exchange she had with or was with a Tom Willett, who she asked if he had left anything on her desk. What the hell is this? Now, what was said about Tommaso Cioni? And of course, they got to bring in JLR. JLR, the self styled investigator, shared an alleged photo of Tommaso Cioni with another woman. Tommaso Cioni at his school with another lady. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Several people however, remarked that too much should not be read into that photo, noting that it was likely, highly likely, Tommaso was pictured next to a female colleague from the school. Yeah, I think so. It didn't look romantic in any way. Could it be another teacher at the school? One wrote. Oh my gosh, is he standing next to a coworker? How scandalous. Now, this is the garbage that's out there today about, I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just going to F and toss that. You know, do you know that Savannah has hired private investigators and she spent up to $500,000 or more? And they're sitting in the neighborhood and they're watching Nancy's house. And oh, by the way, haven't you heard this? Breaking news, they found a bone in the desert. There are thousands of people buried in that desert. It's a Native American location. Are they going to dig up every grave of people from the last 1,000 years? I mean, this is ludicrous. Uh, I don't care about what Annie Guthrie said on Facebook to strange men in 2011. What does that have to do with this case? Absolutely nothing. But just like in the case of MH370, which has been going on for 12 years, they've run out of things to talk about. So I was like, you know what? Screw this. Let me go to the mainstream page of YouTube. Let me go to my homepage and let me type in Nancy Guthrie and see what comes up. And there were two breaking news videos, not one, but two from Brian Enton. And I thought, well, let me look at the oldest one first, see what that says, because it might be something important, because he is a mainstream person that's got almost 3 million subscribers on his Facebook, or no, not his Facebook. He probably has that too, but on his YouTube. And I started listening and I thought I had clicked the wrong video. It was AI BS. And it was filmed in a way, it was edited in a way where it looked like an old piece of film, like a grainy piece of film where you could see like the film rolling. They don't even use film anymore. They don't even use videotape anymore. Everything is digitized now. But that was just thrown in by some fancy editing program to make it look like an old piece of film. It was AI. It wasn't even his voice. But it came from Brian Enton's News Nation YouTube channel. And he does a little intro and then it just cuts and it goes straight into this AI. And they pronounce his name Brian Eaton, not Brian Enton, Brian Eaton. Like, what? And it kept going and going and going. And it was just saying the same prompts over and over again. And then they just had pictures of like Nancy and Savannah and the family, and they kept using the transitions and the animations where they put in the zooms and the highlights. And it was just a very well edited, but poorly edited voiceover from an AI robot. It wasn't Brian. And I about 20 minutes into it, I'm like, I can't believe this. And then I saw, oh no, there's another one. It says breaking news, Brian Enton. Oh, that must be important. Something must have happened. I better watch that before I go on the air so I don't seem like I'm a dumbass. I mean, I'm really like upset about today's news because I like to at least report to you guys what's the latest. Guess what? Same old thing. It comes on, there's an intro, it cuts to an AI thing. I thought YouTube frowns upon that they kick people off. Now, I doubt they're going to kick off Brian Enton, who's got almost 3 million subscribers. But yeah, like that's what's been happening today. AI videos from Brian Enton, a legit news source. Oh, by the way, do you know that Savannah Guthrie has spent 500,000 on private investigators? We don't know that. Did you know that, a couple of weeks ago they found a bone and now it's like it's a whole skeleton? Because, when you bury somebody, you just don't bury one bone, you bury the whole body. I mean, it's like, are you serious? And Annie? She wants to send somebody salty brownies and put it on the guy's head? Like, YouTube might take this video down. Like, what what is that? Even if she said that, we already know she's a weird chick. Oh, that doesn't mean that she had her mother kidnapped or unalived. I mean, John says they have homeless in the desert too. Yes. Kathy Mowry, I've heard they found Nancy's pajamas. Yeah, about 3 months ago. And then they found another pair of pajamas. Because remember, there was the pajamas in the wash behind Annie Tomaso's. And then a YouTuber found a set of pajama bottoms in the desert. And they came out with a bag and the gloves, the rubber gloves, and dropped them in a baggie. And that was it. It's the desert. Like, those monsoonal summer storms could have carried some clothes belonging to homeless for 20 miles. You know, I like, where do we go from here? And then people ask me on my videos, they're like, well, maybe you could talk about something else. But this is what everybody wants to hear. So I did a follow up. I did 2 night videos, one last night and one the night before. And a lot of people wrote back saying, I really like this topic. It's really interesting. And so I did a follow up and I thought, God, YouTube must be broken. Like nobody's coming in. You know, I'm like, no, people want to hear this. But the views are significantly decreasing because there is nothing new to report. So I'm just going to have to, make fewer videos or just go on for a much shorter amount of time because I got 39 people watching right now. And, they want to know the latest on Nancy Guthrie. And the latest is that there is no latest. I'm sorry. There is no latest. Kathy says that's true, John. Homeless are everywhere. Yes. Uh, and apparently they live around the washes that are in the desert. Here they live around the LA River. We call them in LA, we call them the river people. But they're everywhere now. They're not just along the river anymore. They're on the sidewalks, like in places like Toluca Lake and Studio City and Sherman Oaks and, rich neighborhoods. They're you can't even I live in one of the nicest neighborhoods in LA, but in a very cheap old building with rent control, which is now almost out of control. Pretty soon I won't be able to afford to live in Los Angeles anymore. And on the way from my abode by the lake to my mailbox, which is less than a mile away, I have to pass a whole series of homeless encampments. It's everywhere. If it's bad here, I can't imagine what it would be like in Tucson. Now, maybe it's worse here because we have better weather. I mean, where do all these poor people go, in the heat of the summer? And how do you hide from these monsoonal storms that'll just wash you away? It's terrible. Uh, let's see, Jay. Oh, hey, welcome in, Jay. Tomash, the chat is over your face on my phone. Looks like I see your reactions. I'd like to see your reactions. Oh, I can make myself a little higher. How about that? Does that help? I can't lower this new tripod. Does that help that my face was too low? I was kind of leaning back on my chair because my back is bad today. Let me know, Tomash, if that helps. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm sorry. Um, gotta take somebody out. Hold on, Roger. Is that the guy that accuses me of being a tranny? Like, that's, oh my gosh. If that was true, I would have never had to have gone through female breast cancer. Hey, Roger. Thank you, my sir. My friend. Oh, thank you, sir. Let me heart it. Yeah, the goal is not working. I've tried to close the goal. It won't remove. And I've done everything. I have turned off my phone, turned on my phone, deleted my app, reinstalled my app, looked up on Google, and they're like, it's your problem. It's a wide YouTube issue, so it counts. You're just not gonna see it on the goal below. So maybe in the future when I set these lives up, I just won't set up a goal. And if they come in, they come in. But I'm not gonna set up a goal until they can figure out how to fix that. And my mod, Kathy Mowery, says, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, please. And you guys do what she says, because she knows. And she's got my back. Leanne Rayner says, yes. Uh, uh-oh. 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 Dang. Oh, thank you, Kathy. I think we both did it at the same time. I guess somebody's dog must have. I should have done that before I. Roger's going tee hee 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 hee. Like, I know. Oh my gosh. So yeah, okay, 39 people, only 18 thumbs up. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? Let me see where the subscriber count is because it takes a little metric, sometimes 5 or 10 minutes to catch up. Nope, it's still at 3089. 3089. And there's another friend of mine on here who's having a 1,000 sub party that I really need to get to because I want to congratulate him. He's worked so hard. I like to watch the smaller channels and see people have success. Lots of laughs. Great minds think alike. Yeah. Who's messing around, says Jay. And thank you for the super chats, even though I've turned it off. It says it won't even let me turn it off when I say, let me try to remove. I'm just going to remove the goal. Okay, now I got rid of the button. I have disabled the goal. Now, it doesn't mean that you guys can't send a chat. It just means that I have disabled the goal because the button's not working. Oh my gosh. Is there a different type of goal? Not on the desktop. Because sometimes the phone will let me put the gift goal up, but I guess I can't do that on the computer. Okay. So yeah, have I told you that Savannah hired $500,000 worth of private investigators? And there's one sitting on the end of Nancy Street right now as I'm talking to you. I can't believe it. Maybe she didn't hire any. That's actually possible. Remember, she's already coughed up $1,000, or not 1,000. What am I saying? $1 million for the reward fund. And at some point, she may have to pay that out. If you're out there and you're watching this and you know who's responsible, please, please make that call, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Maybe they already have, and like me, they don't call you back. And so far, I lost a whole night's sleep over sending them that letter. And no, I haven't heard from them. Hi, Brian. Welcome in. No goals doesn't mean the super chats don't count. Exactly. Yeah, like I had to disable it. I wanted it off my screen because it doesn't work. And apparently, even though I have Apple, which I think is the most popular of all smartphones in the world, there's no way to disable anything with an Apple as far as deleting the storage. Roger Forever 777 sent a clapping seal for 250 joules. Thank you very much. And the top of my screen now says 130 rubies. Let's see. What else? I mean, yeah, apparently the bones, they're going to the Indians. Did I tell you that already? I mean, how many times can we say that, this is what happened? We don't know the motive. The motive will tell us everything. Was it really a kidnapping for ransom, or was it, something attached to Savannah, the Savannah factor, money, revenge? Or is it like most unalivings, kidnappings, abductions, between 75 to 92% are committed by someone close to the victim, such as family, friends, co-workers, people working in the house, caregivers, you know, delivery drivers, yada, 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 yada. It's one of two things. It's not a robbery, in my opinion. It's not a burglary, in my opinion. They're saying that maybe, because I thought about this, maybe they spent 41 minutes in the house because they were trying to get her to access a safe. Well, I don't know how she could have done that if she didn't have her hearing aids in and she couldn't hear their demands. And according to what the police are saying, nothing is missing out of the house. Nothing. Not even a dollar out of her wallet, apparently. And they didn't take the car keys, the house keys, the wallet, the purse, her medication, her hearing aids, possibly her glasses, which an 84-year-old woman would need. She would need her glasses, her shoes. They didn't find any clothing missing. Nothing in the house seemed to have been touched. It was described as immaculate. Well, what were they doing for 41 minutes? Jasmine. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, I'll be home soon and have a great day. Okay, you too. And you'll see me tomorrow morning. Oh, maybe you're on a different time slot than I'm on. I'll see you tomorrow to see if you want to go and get it done. Okay, something's weird there, Kathy. Oh, there's another weird. Oh my gosh. Well, let's get to deleting, Kathy. Um, the pros and cons of monetization and all these YouTube issues. And for the person who said they couldn't see my face, can you guys see my face now? I'm not like kicked back in the chair behind the chat. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, you can see me now. Okay. That's good. Thank you, Brian. So yeah, like I out of all the things that I've told you today, the thing that I'm most shocked at is that the last two Brian Inton videos that I saw today, just like within an hour before I came on the air, were AI. Like maybe he's having a bad day, maybe he's sick or he's busy or I couldn't believe it. Like, would you risk a channel that has 3 million subscribers by putting out an AI video? I've heard that YouTube is going to drop the hammer on this AI crap. And they should. Like, I was shocked. Did anybody else look at Brian Inton today and see that there were two AI videos? And, I guess you could talk into some AI program and say, okay, I want you to talk about the latest on Nancy Guthrie, la, 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 and here's some, here's what I want you to say. And, here's one or two sentences. And then they make a 45-minute video out of those two sentences. And it just goes in circles. But it doesn't say anything. There was no information. But the clickbait title was like, oh, you got to see this video right now because something broke. And then I subscribed, and I should unsubscribe. I didn't subscribe, but I'm following a Facebook group that's all about the Nancy Guthrie case. And almost every single post that comes up is BS. When I woke up this morning, they had arrested two brothers, one in New Mexico and one in Colorado. And I was like, oh, did they find them? One in New Mexico, one in Colorado. It's a BS story. There's been no arrest today. Not that we know about publicly. Has anybody else heard that there were two brothers arrested today in the Nancy Guthrie case? I mean, it's out of control. Emerald Eyes, no, I haven't seen any of Brian today. Leanne Rayner, I didn't see Brian in videos today. Well, Don't watch the ones about Nancy Guthrie because the last two are AI. Hello, Susan K. I don't think they are his videos. Channels are using his image. His channel's name is Brian Inton Investigates. Well, let me check because I was like, what? But I mean, he did. Oh, I hope I haven't been. I could have been scammed. Let's see. Because I was like, are they doing this? Like, what? And I thought, well, at least if he released them, they would pronounce his name correctly. And of course, this is in my way now, this tripod. You know, maybe they could have been AI. Let's see. Okay. Brian Hinton just exposed what the FBI found inside that house, and it points to one person, and they have ripped off his avatar or a similar one, and it says Brian updates. You are right. You are right. Um, they are fake. Oh my God. Well, I apologize, Brian Enton. And there was another one too. And people were sending him nasty messages like, how can you do this? Poor Brian Enton. And it's got like the one I just mentioned has 82,000 views in 2 days. And then there's another one that just came out before I went off the air. And I was like, and it's like breaking news. And it's almost got the exact same avatar. Oh my God. I think I've been bamboozled. It even happens to the best of us. I apologize to my audience and to Brian Hinton. Those don't appear. I can't find the other one right now, but the one that I saw earlier that I was like, what is this? And he even introduces it. But they stole his coverage. You know, somebody like that needs to be shut down because that is deceptive. I was in a hurry and I had groceries coming and oh my God. Okay, well, everybody just screw what I said. Hi, Susan K. Dean, good afternoon, April. You are feeling better. There's a person going in and out of Miss Nancy's driving a white Tesla. That white Tesla has been around before, and who is it? Is it Tommaso? Please tell me that those two don't have access to her banking while she's still missing. Please tell me that. There's been a guy in a white Tesla that's been there before, and the windows are tinted, and you can't see who it is. It could be a security person, could be an investigator, could it be Tommaso? Is there like a property caregiver now? Uh, Brian is in Vegas on crime gig this weekend. I was like, what is this? Because it starts out where he's talking and then it switches. And I was like, huh? Oh my God, it's somebody imitating his channel. They've got to take that down. That's like somebody coming in and hacking into your Facebook and then putting up your picture and your avatar and, your home screen, your profile picture, and then saying, like, that'll probably never happen to me because I'm not that famous. I'm not at all famous. So, yeah, wow. Yeah, so if you see a Brian Hinton video with AI, don't be bamboozled like I was. There's so many of them daily. Yes. I try not to get fooled by AI, but I was fooled. They get all those views. Like, God, I hope those people aren't monetized. Maybe somebody hacked his channel. I don't know. Or they copied his videos with one of those video copying software programs. And then it was made to look like his. And I was like, huh? I should have been suspicious right away. But remember, I'm old now and maybe I'm losing my mind. A&T probably do have access to Nancy's bank accounts. Jay, that's what I'm worried about. Because who is this guy in the Tesla that keeps showing up? And what was hauled out in those boxes? As people have reported, like file boxes or banker's boxes, what were in those boxes? I mean, they've installed all this new security. Everything in that house should be Fort Knox right now. Why did they have to take those boxes out? Why? Was it paperwork? Did somebody cut into the safe and they've taken out all the jewels and the gold? You know, what is it? I had access to my mom's until about 2 to 3 years prior to her death. Yeah, but Jay, you were looking out for your mom. You hadn't been accused of being a prime suspect in your mom's, disappearance or death. You can report fakes in the settings. Yeah, I'm going to go find those, Dean, after I get off with you guys. And I'm going to report those because that's just wrong. And it was laid out like a Brian Enton video. And it was on the home screen. Like, because I normally watch him. So, of course, that's going to show up in my feed. And that's why I thought it was him. I didn't, it showed up on my homepage when I typed in, Brian Enton. And that's what came up. Yeah, those were some banker's boxes or file boxes. And they were removed several weeks ago. And we don't know what was in them, but they were removed by Tommaso. So I apologize, Brian. I still love you. uh, someone should give a message to Brian that someone's imitating him. Someone has to pay Nancy's bills. Yeah, I know. Someone has to pay for the house. Somebody had to pay for those property taxes, um, which were paid on April the 15th for Nancy's house. Um, Now, Annie Tomaso's property taxes had originally been reported as delinquent, but then on May the 4th, the Pima County Treasurer revised that and said that they were paid backdated to April the 29th. Hey, Brian, say hello to my cousin Brenda. Yeah. So wow, 50 people in here now. And there's no more to talk about. But be careful of fake Brian Enton videos today because I was bamboozled. I got sucked in and I thought I was watching his channel. And I wasn't. That's very deceptive. And thank you to the viewer here who pointed that out that it could be a fake channel. Well, it's probably a real channel. It's just not really Brian Enton. Uh, Everyone that has seen these videos need to report them. This is illegal videos. They wouldn't be in trouble for mass red flagging. Yeah, I was like, what is he doing? I was so upset about it. Like, oh, come on, Brian wouldn't do this, would he? Like, is News, Nation pressuring him that much to get the latest out there? But it was all BS. It wasn't him. But when I typed in Brian Enton, that's what came up. Oh gosh, that's sad because 80 some thousand clicked into that one video and it's not Brian. I feel so stupid. Thank you for pointing it out. I'm so glad you pointed it out now while I'm on the air live and I can apologize. Jeez. And you know what? After this is done, I will go put a comment on this video and I'll pin it so that if anybody's watching on the replay, um, to disregard about the Brian Enton videos that they were fakes. Hello. Mila, is it? Greetings. Uh, I'm glad I let you know about it. Yeah, thank you, Susan. Yeah, just pay attention to the channel name before watching. Well, I had too much going on at the moment. Uh, Brian has a special Q&A coming out this weekend. Oh, I'd like to see that. But before I watch this next video, I'm going to make sure that it says Brian Enton and that it's really Brian Enton. Um, yeah, I bet, I should know better being an investigator and dealing with stuff like this all the time. No apologies. I'm sure other people saw the image of him and watched them too. Because I was seeing all this ridiculous stuff, even about Annie from 2011. You know, how would they have even got that? Didn't she privatize her Facebook? I know she supposedly took down her Etsy, and supposedly he hasn't been teaching, but we don't know if it was since this crime occurred or, as other people have reported, and we can't confirm it, that he hadn't worked the entire 25-26 school year. Well, if she's not doing her Etsy and he hasn't worked the whole school year, or at least since Nancy's abduction, how are they paying their bills? When this started February 1st, and I heard about it the night of February 1st. And then that first week, it was all, he was a suspect and yada, yada, yada. And you can look up their house online and they had just closed on it. I don't know when they moved in, but I think they closed on it at the end of March 2025. So they had actually owned that house under a year when this happened. And it has since been discovered that they have a second house. And that's where his power of attorney for her comes into, as in regards to that second house. Um, I would love to see Brian's Q&A. Yeah, me too. Um, and who is he doing it with? Is he interviewing somebody, or is he, going to be at a convention where just like the audience is going to be able to participate? Because somebody mentioned earlier that he's in Las Vegas this weekend. Like, where do we go from here? You know, Nothing about this case have I changed my mind on. As far as, the possible suspects, I didn't name everybody in that suspect video because, people aren't going to watch a long form content that's, usually more than 18 minutes, and that video is 24 minutes. And that video is over a month old. Things have, you know, um, other people's names have come up since then. Uh, let's see. Um, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody in all of this mess. So, has anybody here heard anything legit today that's not on a fake website or not about the complete set of bones that have been sent back to a native Arizona tribe, not about Savannah's alleged PIs, and not about uh, Annie having strange conversations with other men on Facebook, which may not even be legit. And oh, wow, Tommaso, he posed with a picture of a female at his school. Like, yeah, it looks like another teacher. Like, come on. Like, and now these AIs, if I watched it and I clicked it, other people clicked it too. I'm gonna look into those, and you know what? I'm gonna report those. Um, Exploring with Jim found a bone. Oh, is he the one that found the first bone? Was it him that found the bone that is believed to be Native American, and it could be a fossil, or not a fossil, but it could be uh, prehistoric, could be up to 1,000 years old, because now they do have uh, the whole set of bones from that location. Both A and T may be retired due to age. I doubt it. I guess it would depend on how long he's taught. Um, she wouldn't be old enough to be collecting any like government benefits like Social Security unless she's disabled. On the side of the road. Are you talking about the one that it's since been reported as native, or are we talking about a different bone, Susan? And hey, thumbs up. At least somebody's looking. The Cajun Navy, who has applied twice to come in there and has been apparently turned down twice, has said they guarantee that they'll find other people while it would be almost unheard of to go out and search the desert and not find other bones to other people. They could even solve some crimes, maybe. Um, he's an actual searcher. He's been searching for weeks. Well, good for him. Um, let's see. Yeah, there's nothing. And then there's a story about the DNA, about the hair. And I saw one today and it was like mystery DNA evidence. And I was like, oh, did they have something new? You know, no, just another story about the evidence that was sent in the first week. Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's so frustrating. So frustrating. Like, I will talk to the end of time if I have to bring Nancy home, just to try to keep it relevant. And you know what? I see some of the usual suspects, the usual boots on the ground. Um, they're still like reporting. I don't know where they were today. They were in a car. I think it was JLR, Alex, and somebody else. I was driving at the time, but I was listening to it in the background, and they were taking calls. I guess there was three of them. I don't know if they were in another state or they were in Arizona, but some of the usual, YouTubers on the ground, they were, broadcasting live, and kudos to them for trying to keep this alive. Um, I believe some are just finding out about Nancy. Uh, hashtag justice for Nancy. Yeah. Going to Crime Con, says John. Oh, they were on their way to Vegas for Crime Con. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to Con, John, but so the YouTubers, okay. You would think some DNA would be left somewhere. There probably was, but everybody stepped all over it because they didn't take the doormat and they didn't take the frame for the Nest camera and they didn't take all the plants that was mixed in the blood that the guy had put in his hands. Um, yeah, but I've never heard Savannah confirm it, Leanne. Bullhorn Betty said that Savannah did hire a team of private investigators. I would think she probably has, just common sense. She said that she broke the news, but others confirmed it. But yet Savannah has never said a word. And they're not talking about this case on the Today Show. They are forbidden from talking about it. So, I'm telling you, it doesn't work that way with PIs. The PIs aren't coming forward saying, there's this many. This is where we're sitting. We're on Nancy Street today and we're watching her house. Like, that's not happening. Private investigators are not going to talk about it. Savannah would, if she called and hired me, I wouldn't come on here and say, guess what? I just got hired by Savannah Guthrie. I haven't, but if I had, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. If I had a conversation with her, even if it was just a consultation, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. There's a strange man sitting in the car on Nancy Street today, supposedly. It's a private investigator. There may not even be a strange car and a strange man. They're just running out of things to report. And then I feel silly because I got bamboozled by someone who was made a channel that looked exactly like Brian Enton's, and I got sucked into it. And I thought, huh? But, I was kinda like I was doing other things because I had a couple deliveries coming, and I had to go to the box. By the way, that's the good news. I went to the box today. Look at this. I know it's hard to see in the green screen. I picked up not one, and I saved the little receipts here because I wanted to tell you guys about it. It's here somewhere on my desk. I saved the receipts because I need to call a couple people out today. I received a gift from Maggie. Maggie from Indiana, thank you very much. I will not disclose your true identity, but Maggie from Indiana sent a 4-pack of Bundaberg through the Amazon wish list store, and I got another Amazon gift card. Thank you so much, Maggie from Indiana. And she says, hydrate, April. I am doing that today. Now, another viewer who you guys are familiar with, Arizona Desert Walker, and we won't reveal their real identity, also sent a 4-pack of Bundaberg. And I've had 2 other people say they tried to order it, but that it was out of stock in my store, and that's because I knew that I had 2 4-packs coming. So we're set right now for the foreseeable future for the Bundaberg. Let's see. Did I say hi to you, Cheryl? I don't know if I did or I didn't. Hello, Cheryl Kushner. Welcome in, or welcome back, I should say. Where does it come from, the drink? Well, I got it at my mailbox, and they got it from Amazon. And these wonderful viewers sent it, but Bundaberg comes from down under, the land down under, comes from Australia. And it's basically diet ginger beer. And it has a little bit of sugar in it, but not a whole lot. And obviously no caffeine. Uh yeah, Bundaberg from Australia. And it even says on the back, product of Australia. And Queensland. Yep, Queensland, Australia. Bundaberg, Queensland. Oh, that must be the name of the town. Bundaberg Brewed Drinks Pty Limited. And even with the readers, I can't read the print on the address, but it has a QLD, which is Queensland, and an Australian zip code. Yeah. It's my favorite, people. Thank you, Kathy Mowry. Yeah, I got to keep this thing going because I can't just come on here every day and talk about Nancy Guthrie. There's going to be other things I'm going to have to talk about, and I need to get out and make some videos. I've been doing research on telescopes. I probably obviously can't afford what I would like to have, but if anybody can send me any information about what's a good starter telescope that's not too expensive, but not like something made in China either. No offense to my Asian friends, which I have a lot of, but something a little bit more sophisticated than something that's been made in China, something that could at least allow me to see the moon. Because here in Los Angeles, unless we have a catastrophic quake and the whole power grid goes down, like, in the movie Close Encounters, where the whole town just goes dead, dark, like, you can't really see the stars very well in LA unless you go out to the Mojave Desert, and then it's just spectacular. So something that I could see the moon and see it clearly, and something that also has the ability to attach a phone behind the lens, behind the viewfinder, so that I can actually record either video or even go live and say, hey, look what I'm seeing right from my driveway. If anybody knows, let me know. Jewel Giacana, I am addicted to this case too. It would be terrible to have this happen to me. Yeah. Uh, Prayers for Savannah. I know. I just love Savannah so much, and she's got so much on her plate right now. Um, Hey, Rochelle, welcome in. Jim went MIA in the middle of his live at Rose? What's that about, Rochelle? Rose Canyon Lake. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about that. I remember some of the other, the YouTubers that were the boots on the ground had gone up there at the very beginning of the case. He went MIA? Hopefully it's just like an internet thing. Like, did he lose his connection? Or is he actually a missing person? That's scary. Police were called and he sounds mad. Oh, has he resurfaced? Oh, his equipment went out. Okay. Oh, and there's been a YouTube issue today. It took 28 seconds for this broadcast to connect. Exactly. Kathy, she says, thank you for all the help to keep April going. Even the ginger beer helps. She doesn't have to buy it, so she can use the money for her channel. Exactly. And now I want a telescope. And I need a monoscope too for my hummingbirds. They sent a chopper to look for him. Well, that's going to be expensive. Martha Hale saw Brian yesterday with the guy who witnessed the execution by firing squad in South Carolina recently. Oh, wow, Martha. I didn't hear about that. Rochelle says his battery died. Okay, well, I'm glad he's okay and he's back. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you are really kind of putting your life at risk sometime when you go to these, far away places. You don't know who's walking around out there. It's like when I have to do, if I have to go to the Antelope Valley out to the edge of the Mojave Desert, and they're like, oh, you can take a shortcut through the two. Just get on the Glendale Freeway and go to the end, and in the two will start, and you'll take Angeles Crest all the way across. And when you get across the mountain, you'll end up in Palmdale. Like, hell no. I'm not going on the gotta be careful what I say here, but the DEAD body highway, the biggest one in the United States. Like, I'm not going up there and coming across something by accident, and I'm never found again, nor is my car. Like, there's places that it's just too dangerous to go. Is this guy Jim the same guy that went and found the train car that was an abandoned railroad car? And he was looking around that out in the desert? We thought Richard had got Jim. We were scared. I had such a headache. Uh, oh my gosh. No shortcuts, exactly. I had to go to a ski lodge once, and it's very popular in the winter, but there's nobody up there in the summer. And I had to go up there in the summer, and they're like, "Well, you can take the back roads and get here, you know, an hour faster, or you can just take the main roads." And I'm like, "I'm going to take the main roads." And I got up there, and what happened? I had to make the interviews pretty short because a brush fire started. And it was creepy. There was people there to meet me, but it was creepy because I was way up on top of that mountain, just with a couple of people. One time I had to go to a spot like a radar center or something here in the valley, and they sent a homicide detective to go with me, and we had to go through some special gates. It was weird. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie, and I got to go up to a place that nobody can go up there, and I could see the ocean, I could see LA, I could oh, not the ocean, but I could see towards the ocean. I could see Simi Valley, Santa Clarita Valley, and the San Fernando Valley all in one spot. And there was radar equipment up there and phone equipment up there and broadcasting equipment up there. There was a few like random cows that were just on the side of the mountain. We found blood in the facility. It was just like, oh my God. And they sent a homicide detective that was armed to go with me. And it took us a long time from the valley. We went up Tampa, if you're familiar with LA, and then we somehow got through this gate. And then we went up into this very secured area. And supposedly, there's even missile silos up there that were pointing at Russia in the Cold War. So it was creepy. When you go out there, April, take us and a GoPro. Yeah, that my career is basically done. He rides a little motorcycle he named Nancy. Oh, who, Jim? Yeah, I saw that when he found the train. I would never travel by myself, too dangerous. I traveled a lot by myself. But the creepiest is if I sometimes I used to go to Vegas, but I haven't been to Vegas in more than 20 years. And the last time I was there for a relative's wedding, and I didn't even have a chance to put a nickel in the slot, like nothing. And well, it was just so intense. And I hadn't slept, and I had to drive there, and then I just slept for like 12 hours in the hotel room. And my mom called me the next morning, like, "Are you awake?" Like, "Yeah, I am now." And like, I rushed to the wedding, and then I rushed back home. And let me tell you, because I was running a business and I had people working for me. And while I was there, like Britney Spears got married in my backyard, like literally, like the backyard behind my condo, Britney Spears got married, and I missed all of that because I was out in the heat of Las Vegas doing a family wedding deal. And I remember the hotel was extraordinarily expensive because they were having fights that week, and it cost me a lot of money just to go. And the wedding went well, and but I came back like the second day, like at night, and I took the back roads because they're shorter. I'll never do that again in the dark. Those back roads just seemed like I was on them for hours and hours and hours. Like there's just nothing. Well, and then there's a lot of aerospace facilities around there that I have worked. Would never do that again. Even if it took me 10 times longer, I would stay on the main freeways. I don't like I'm not a middle of nowhere kind of gal. I'm a city person. Oh, now I haven't traveled between LA and Vegas, and supposedly there's more, things to stop at and see and do, but not a whole lot. Just passing through, but I read some of the files you talked about released by the CIA yesterday. Informative, but still feel like they're leaving stuff out, of course. And that is so the rest of this guy. Okay. Hopefully more files are coming. You know what? And I wrote something on my notes. What was it? Has nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie, but the final trailer for Disclosure Day, the movie Disclosure Day, not the actual Disclosure Day that happened May 8th, has come out. And somebody that I have a former connection to, his name is Steven Spielberg, he says during the trailer, they cut between scenes to Steven and then to the movie and then back to Steven, and he says, "This story is about us, all of us, up against the most extraordinary event in human history. Wouldn't it be wonderful to know this is true?" That's all I'm going to say. And I don't think I'm going to do any more videos about it unless something big comes up because last night, nobody wanted to watch that. They're like, "What about Nancy? Has something happened with Nancy?" Let me tell you, Nancy Guthrie and Savannah Guthrie have become a bigger interest, not just to the US, but to the world, than the President of the United States coming out with Disclosure Day. Like, the biggest thing that's ever happened, ever, not just in our lifetimes, but in the history of Earth has happened. And people are like, "Yeah, so what about Nancy Guthrie?" Like, her story is bigger than Disclosure Day. Like, that's crazy. Now, maybe people go out and see the movie and they'll start listening to everybody. 70 people? Wow. On a Friday afternoon? Wow, holy smokes, everybody. You 70 people, are you subscribed? Boy, we could certainly get the subscriber count up really quick if those that just came in, those 70 people. We're up to 3091. I have gained 2, and I have been talking for 70 minutes. And if you're watching on the replay, and I'll put the note in the comment and I'll pin it in the comment section for the replay. If you're watching on the replay, the stuff I said about the crappy Brian Enton videos, that was wrong. I got bamboozled. They were fakes. Yeah, someone's trying to imitate his channel today. And I was like, what? And if it weren't for a very smart viewer who pointed out that it could be a fake channel, I would have felt so bad because I love Brian Enton. And he's one of the reporters that I actually trust in this to give us the correct news. Rochelle, I was going to take a van converted RV to Arizona this year. I was inspired by Minivan Lee. Oh, I haven't watched Minivan Lee. Is that a YouTuber? Changed plans after this. Oh, Lord. Who did she marry? Who did who marry? Oh, Brittany, that happened that was 20 years ago when she got married to Kevin Federline, and it was like in my backyard, and I missed it because I had to go to a wedding in Vegas for family. It was a family obligation. Uh, Spent my own money for the hotel, which was quadruple because there was some sold out fight that was happening. And it was the weekend, so the traffic was horrific. I came back early. As soon as it was done, I was just like, I got to go home. I got to go back and run my business. And somebody had moved into my place to take care of my darling kitties, and I'm like, I'm hurrying. I'm trying to get out of here as fast as I can. I was in such a hurry. I didn't even get to stop at Whiskey Pete's, which I used to do. I would stop at Whiskey Pete's either on the way in or the way out, grab a hot dog, grab a Coke, and there's a big giant machine at the front door that's huge. It's like one of those TV shows, and you have to pull this big, and the big giant reel spin, and it's like $1, and you could win $1,000,000. So that was like a tradition. Stop at Whiskey Pete's, get $1 hot dog, a Coke, and put $1 in the big giant slot that's at the front door. Never even had time. I have never been back since. Not a gambling kind of gal, I guess. But yeah, that like, and I had so many gigs that weekend, and investigators calling me, and I had to buy an outfit because I was in the wedding, and oh my god, so much stress. Um, Rochelle, spooky. I was going to go to the Superstition Mountains with the spirit box. Oh, that would be so cool, Rochelle. But if you go to those mountains, don't go in the summertime. It's too hot. You won't make it. Go in the wintertime when the weather's much safer. And don't go by yourself. Dean, you can rent telescopes from astronomy clubs. They have all kinds for all budgets. Oh, I didn't know that. I really want a good one. Yeah, I do. At least enough to see the moon. Uh, Cheryl says she's going to South Carolina. Hi, Loretta. Loretta Zimmerman, are you new here? Welcome in. Where are you coming in from, Loretta? I know, Jay. I agree. We've heard about UFOs for 50 plus years. It's like, yeah, whatever. I know. Dean says renting before you buy has been my experience with a lot of products. Thank you, Kathy. She says smash that like button. I know, 58 people. We had 70 some people earlier. Only 36 likes. I guess my video must suck today. Rochelle, Walmart Uber delivered an order to me last night and smashed my hanging planner to death. So upset. That's not nice. Walmart, Uber. Lori, yes, there's so much misinformation floating around, especially on Facebook. I know. And I joined one of those Nancy Guthrie groups. I think I'm going to unfollow now because, I woke up this morning to hear that, two brothers, one in Colorado and one in New Mexico, that they had been arrested or they had done it or it wasn't even true. Rochelle says Brittany. Yeah, that was when she was married to Kevin Federline and her boys are like grown from that. It had to be more than 20 years ago now. Uh, but no, it's very scary going on that ride from Las Vegas at night. That's all I'm saying. They were rude, says Rochelle. I'm sorry, Rochelle. Yesterday was not a good day. Yes, Abe Van Bop. Welcome in, Abe. Are you a real PI? Absolutely. I couldn't go on here and say I was a real PI if I wasn't. I'd be breaking the law. That'd be like saying I was a cop or a doctor and it wasn't true. I am licensed and everything. Been licensed since August 6th, 1992. But I actually started my training the night of February 24th, 1984 in Beverly Hills on a big celebrity gig. And it was the beginning of a 35-year plus full-time career. And then the last 7, I've just been fighting for my life and still have my license and business license and PI license, but I'm, 99% retired. I am going to tour Cali extensively. When I do, go down there in my van. Yeah, let me know, Rochelle. Kathy Mowry, subscribing is free, so let's help April's channel grow. I know, since I hit 3K, it's just crawling. And I was watching a guy earlier today because I was watching my friend Kermudge, who's one of my mods. I was watching his video because he releases every Friday, and it then rolled into someone else's channel from Alaska who I'd never saw before. I don't remember the guy's name. And I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And I looked and he had something like 49 million views. And I'm like, 49 million views? And he's got 383,000 subscribers, this dude, whoever he was, young guy, wife, kid, cabin out near the lake in, the middle of nowhere, Alaska. And I'm like, well, I know those channels are big right now, but 383,000? And how come every time I start my videos, my nose itches? There's an old wives' tale that if your nose itches, it means you're getting married. I don't know why that is. It never itches when I'm not on the air. But I am allergic to paper, and there's a lot of paper on my desk, so that may be it. Yeah, and I was like, he's only got like 100 plus videos. I've got almost 600 videos and 5 years into this. And I'm making a big deal about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Like, thank you. Who sent that? I gotta scroll down. Somebody just sent a jewel. Who was it? I gotta go all the way down. Oreo guy sent sparkles. Thank you, Oreo guy. Let me go back to the main screen so I can see it on the desktop in front of me. Uh, Hand itches means getting money. My hands don't itch at all. Yeah, I am mostly retired, Kathy. And I am still a PI. I am a licensed PI. And I don't want to go in the other room to get it out and show it to you, but I am absolutely a licensed PI. So you might want to retract that comment if you can. Can you delete that, please? I am a licensed PI. I'm not investigating this case of missing Nancy Guthrie, but I am the real deal. Yeah, we don't want a rumor like that going around that I'm not a PI. Can we delete that, Kathy? I am mostly retired, but I still have an active license and a business license and professional license. In fact, I just renewed it last night. My renewal is in the mail. I sent it a little early. Uh, Let me go delete that comment. I don't want to remove you. Can you just delete the comment? Um, uh, Thank you, Oreo. Did you correct it? Can you remove the comment? Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I am a real PI. I get a lot of people that ask me that question. Hey, Panda. And let's say I missed Oreo Guy's jewel in the middle of all that because I was like, what? Oh, okay. Oreo Guy 098 sent a chili for 6 jewels. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Kathy. No, that is a picture of Nancy's house. I am from Los Angeles, California, Audrey, and welcome in. Where are you coming in from, Audrey? And yeah, I am a real PI. I am not investigating the Nancy Guthrie case in any way. I am simply reporting it. Yeah, that's been going on for a couple days, and there's no way to know that. In fact, they've even said today that there's a PI sitting on Nancy's street today watching her house. Don't believe any of that garbage. If Savannah does have PIs, nobody's going to talk about it. That this is just some news agency that ran with something, and they're going, "Oh, but it's been confirmed." No, it's unless Savannah gets on television and says, "I've hired X amount of PIs, and this is how much I've paid them," and this. Don't believe anything that you hear on the internet. Even I made a mistake today. I got bamboozled by the two fake Brian Enton videos. But no, I'm not from Catalina Foothills area, Audrey. Um, mm, I'm not avoiding anybody. Uh, how do you send a jewel? Oh, if you're watching on a if you're watching a vertical live and you're watching on a cell phone, I don't know if you can do it from a computer. I know you can do it from a phone, but you know what? You're in another country, Rochelle, so it's not going to work. That's why, because you're in Canada. It's apparently, it can, from what I hear, it can only be done from the US, I think. But you'll see like the little box at the bottom, like the little gift box. Uh, Audrey says Boston. However, I'm not reporting or working on the case. Uh, let's see. Grandmother said when your nose itches, you might have a hole in your britches. I don't think so. Thank you. That's so funny, Dean. Uh, no problem, Kathy. Yeah, I'm the real deal. And thank you for like helping me the last few days because it's been a little crazy, especially since I started the alien videos at night, you know? And now I'm just discouraged from that. Like, why did I waste my time? So if they hired a PI, why don't you tell us what the investigator would be looking for? Well, they would be conducting a confidential private investigation and they would not jeopardize the security or the integrity of their investigation by talking about it in the media. You know, it'd be like a doctor going on YouTube and saying, here's, John Doe's medical records. You can't do it. So all this stuff about who she hired, how many, where they are, where they're from, what their backgrounds are, and how much she's paying them, it's all baloney. Um, she probably has hired PIs, I hope. Martin or Martha, keep your channel going because you have a lot of neat stories and knowledge. Thank you, Martha. Appreciate that. And thank you, Martha. I think I mentioned it yesterday, but if I didn't, she hyped the video. Yeah, is it true? Everybody, Kathy, maybe you can answer this. Is it true that if you live in another country like Rochelle, that you can't send the gifts? Or is it that you can't hype the videos? Is it one or both? But you can still send the others. Um, what do I think of CZ Moore? I don't know who that is, Lisa. I'm sorry. Darn Trudeau did it, no doubt. And I know who that is. The Prime Minister. Yeah, I don't know that case. I don't know who that is. Is that another, like, criminal case that people are reporting on? Uh, oh, wow, Audrey, that's cool. Your boyfriend was a homicide detective in Boston for 32 years. Wow. Yeah, homicides are I never meant to do death investigations, but one of my typists used to call me Detective Death, and I'm like, "Don't call me that." And it was like a joke because she was always typing so many like statements on homicide cases. Um, Rochelle says if ET came here, he would definitely go home. I would think so. Kathy says, my mom used to say, if your nose itches, you're going to kiss a fool. uh, CC Moore, yeah, I don't know who that is. How old am I? Old as dirt, Audrey. But I have 42 years of detective experience. And just for those who think that I'm not a PI, no, I don't mean you, Kathy, because I've had a lot of people come in here and go, "You're not a PI." I've had that happen in my career, and I have all my credentials and my ID, and they're like, "This could be fake." That's because California, they have really crappy looking ID cards. And I don't even have the most current one. I still have the older one, the blue one that's got the picture where you have to sign it below. The first surveillance I went on, the ink melted in the heat. I still have the original one because for me to get the new one that has the date on it, I would have to drive to an area that's about 30 minutes away if there's no traffic. And a lot of people get there because you can't make an appointment and they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're not doing that today." Or we don't have your name on the list. And the state of California, even though they have almost doubled the renewal fee from 150 to 296. We talked about this the other night. When they send you the license, they send you the not even the wall full copy. They send you the little. It's about yay big. It's like your renewal copy, and they don't send the paper one for you to put in your wallet. So even though I've been licensed since August 6, 1992, I don't have a current paper copy that I can carry in my purse or my wallet because California no longer provides it. They make me go to an independent site, pay money, and they used to have one in Van Nuys, which wouldn't be that far from where I'm at. I could probably be there in 15 minutes. But the closest one is in Agora Hills, which is almost like Malibu Creek. It's almost Ventura County. That's the closest one. And more PIs live in LA County than any other county in the state of California. And we have the fewest offices to go get that new photo card. But yes, I am a PI, and I have been licensed since 92. Audrey says she worked for 911 for 22 years. Well, thank you, Audrey, for your service. Uh, Lisa says famous DNA specialist. Oh, you mean the person that you mentioned earlier? And I said I didn't know who that was. Okay, Kathy says I'm not sure of that regarding the jewels. I know there are things people from another country can't do, like on Whatnot. That's true. And on Whatnot, you better be using a cell phone or it just doesn't work. And by the way, I do have a Whatnot link. Somebody signed up to it the other day, but apparently they didn't buy anything. So they get their free $15 to spend, but I don't get any like $5 spending credit for it because if they didn't make a purchase, then it doesn't count. Let's see. Um, are jewels on YouTube in USA only? Let's see. Okay. I could have been wrong, Rochelle. Let's see what it says. It says no, jewels are not exclusive to the US anymore. I hope you're listening, Rochelle. While YouTube's virtual tipping feature originally launched only in the United States, it has expanded significantly. Viewers and creators in dozens of countries across North America, Asia, Latin America, and Oceania can now purchase jewels and send digital gifts. Who can purchase? Viewers in countries including the US, Canada, that's you, Rochelle, Australia, Singapore, Mexico, Vietnam, and South Korea can buy jewels directly through the YouTube mobile app. So, are you on a mobile phone, Rochelle, or are you on a computer? Let me know. Eligible creators globally can receive jewels which convert into rubies worth roughly 1 penny each during a vertical live stream, which this is. You are on the phone, okay? Okay, so Canada does have it. So on your phone, it's is if anybody that's on here can see it on their phone, is it a separate button from the super chat button, or it should be like a little purple gift box? Yes, Leanne. You know what, Leanne? Do me a favor. Uh, Send me an email, aprildavispi@gmail.com, and I will send you my seller's code. And they have, I think it's up to $125 or $150 that they'll match your sales in the first week if you use somebody's code. So I will get you that today, Leanne, or this evening. I will get you the seller's code. And you know what? Whatnot is popping for me now, as is Facebook Marketplace, including the Whatnot Marketplace. eBay, rest in peace. And I've seen more videos in the last 24 hours than I've ever seen before. People that are like six-figure sellers that have huge, successful YouTube reselling channels that are saying that their eBay sales have crashed in the last 2 days. You are on your phone now. You're watching the video on your phone or you're talking on your phone? Okay, Audrey Durham. Thank you, Audrey. It's in the bottom right corner of your phone, the gift box. See, I have a different screen because I'm recording this video and you guys are watching this video. So as a viewer, you should see a little box that looks like a gift that's got a ribbon around it. And you click that box. Is it possible that their DNA isn't in the system? Oh, do you mean with this case, Nancy Guthrie? Absolutely. Okay, so you're watching on the cell phone, then you should be able to see not only the super chat button, but you should be able to see the little gift box. It's on the bottom right-hand corner, according to Audrey Durham. Thank you, Audrey. It's in the bottom right corner of your phone, the gift box. Let me go back to the big screen here. Yeah, I can't do it from a desktop. It's a mobile thing only. I got a bottle of Valentino for $7. Wow. Yeah, there's great deals on Whatnot. But, it's a great selling platform, especially if you already do like eBay or Mercari or Poshmark or Depop or Grailed, Facebook Marketplace, all of those. Because when you have like a lot of leftover inventory, you know, the other night I got on a couple weeks ago and I hadn't been on in like a couple of months. And in one night, just like that, I sold 17 items. And then the next night, a couple nights later, I got on again and I didn't sell anything. But one of my YouTube viewers came in because you can multicast this to your Facebook and your YouTube. And somebody came in and threw me a $20 tip. And I was like, oh, wow. And they don't take any fees out of those tips. It's not like, if you send me $1 on YouTube, I get, 70 cents if it's Android and I get like 48 cents if it's Apple. But on Whatnot, if someone sends you a $20 tip, a couple days later, that $20 deposited into your account. Um, yes, but they can give us a description, Hispanic or Italian, male or female. That would end speculation. Kathy says it was a full-size bottle. That's amazing, Kathy. Yeah, I do. If you, go to my links and you can, if you're not already signed up, you can get the $15 buyers. But let me give you the sellers one. Just send me that email to aprildavispi@gmail, and I'll go over there and I'll. Uh, wow, it's like $185, but I'm low income, so I have to watch my money. Yeah, they'll give you they. It doesn't cost anything to sign up, and they'll give you $15 to spend. Um, when I became a seller, I had to go through another person, or there was like a 9-month waiting list, and I went through Rachel Strickland. And she's my friend who's on YouTube, who's a former Mrs. Missouri. And I got accepted like in 3 or 4 days. But they didn't give you any like sellers credits or bonuses like they do now because the app was just getting started. Yeah, I'm low income too because I'm on a limited income. So I loved, like, the other day I went on to Palm Street. That's a new one, and it's just like Whatnot. And I got a really nice little gold nugget on there from a legit gold seller. Um, because they had all these, like, welcome into the app coupons, and I was just like, "Wow, I get a free piece of gold." And last night I was on Whatnot, and I won, from a big gold channel. I won an Alaskan gold flake. It's on its way already. Like, I can add that to my little stash. Audrey says she's from Scotland. Welcome in, Scotland. We got Scotland and Canada so far today. Whatnot has asked me several times to be a seller. Yeah, if you got things to sell, and you want to use a code, I can shoot you a code. Um, yep, a lot of us are, Jay. Me too. That's why I love Whatnot because I can get rid of my leftover. Like the other night when I did that show, and I sold 17 items, and most of them were just $2 items, but still, it was just like bang, 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 just like that. Uh, wouldn't you have to be afraid of knockoffs? Yeah, you have to be careful. Um, what's up, guys? Says Todd. We're kind of at the end of the Nancy Guthrie latest, which isn't that great. There's no new news to report, Todd. Um, yeah. Now, if you want the buyer's code, just go into my links on the my main channel page. If you need the buyer's links for Whatnot, because if you're already signed up, um, then the free money they won't give it to you. They'll be like, "You're already signed up. We already have that username." And if you try to sign up with a fake username, they'll catch you. So if you're not signed up, sign up. I have $80 Stanley mugs. Yeah, those do very well on there, actually. Well, they always say if you're going to start a side hustle and reselling, that you should always start with things that you have in your own home because you don't want to go out and buy inventory and then it doesn't work out for everybody. That's not true, Frank. Absolutely not in this case. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. And if I haven't reminded everybody already, remember everybody we discuss on this channel is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I was a PI for 35 years full time and very, very part time for the last 7 years because I am disabled. That's all I've ever done. Uh, oh, 30 still. Those sell terrific on Whatnot. I don't even own a Stanley Cup, but it's like a hot item. That's why I'm April Davis PI. You comp them, Dean, whether you're on Facebook Marketplace or you're on eBay or Whatnot or Palm Street or Macari or Poshmark, you look to see what's sold in the last 90 days and at what price. You also look at how many are currently listed and what are they selling for. It's just like selling a house. You're a realtor, you got to do the comps. Audrey says she is retired. That's an interesting comment that Frank had. Usually it's an auction that starts at $1. Oh, you mean on Whatnot? Yeah. But they have a marketplace now too. So you know, I get quite a few sales every now and then on marketplace. On Whatnot that are marketplace items. Like, oh wow, I didn't expect that, and they'll just send me an email and say, here it is. Lori sent a sunshine for 200 jewels. Well, that helps because that gives me 100 more rubies. So yeah, Rochelle, if you're still here, apparently you can send from another country, including Canada. I didn't know that. I must have been thinking about the hypes because somebody tried to hype me and they were in a different country or something and it didn't work. But yeah, a lot of countries now have jewels. But you don't need to send any. Um, Thank you, Lori. I appreciate you. And I guess, my goal button is just going to be broken for the rest of my life because I looked that up on Google and they're like, "Oh, we fixed all the super chat problems, and if your goal's not calculating, then it must be you." Like, and there's no way to clear the YouTube cache on a cell phone that's an Apple device unless you just delete the app multiple ways. And guess what? It doesn't fix it. And this is not, an old phone. This is a new phone. Oh, yeah, I know Jeebus. Yeah, Jeebus and Amber, they're incredible. You guys also, Rochelle, do you know Locker Nuts and Pirate? They all know each other. You should be able to see it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? NGL, you're a MILF? Who's a MILF? Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you're not signed up to Whatnot, I mean, it's a pretty much a no-brainer. Go into my links page that's on my main channel page underneath my channel description and sign up for Whatnot, and Whatnot will award you 15 free dollars, and you can use that in my store, or you can use it in anybody else's store or anybody else's room. Like when someone is live and they're doing a live auction, that's called a room. It doesn't have to be mine. Now, you will have to pay for the postage. They have commercial shipping through the post office. It's the lowest shipping on any app that there is, much lower than eBay. Yeah, they have it in Canada, Rochelle. Whatnot. I get quite a few international sales actually on Whatnot. And out of all the international sales that I get in Canada, my top two or in on eBay, the top two countries besides the US is the top two international countries is Canada and Australia. And I don't know why that is. I mean, Canada, yeah, it's part of North America, but Australia, that's my number two because I've sold stuff all over the world, even on Amazon. Stuff goes, I don't sell on Amazon anymore. I don't do Amazon FBA anymore, but I had stuff going all over the world. And it's just, a side hustle for me. Oh, but yeah, Canada and Australia, I get a lot of sales. International shipping is expensive now. Jay says she's going to take off. See you tomorrow. See you, Jay. Thanks for coming. Yeah, but go sign up for Whatnot, everybody. Yeah, and I don't do it for a living. I think after I sold those 17 items, I had like a $44 gross and a $33 net for 17 items. Now, I could have put them on the bay and it could have taken, 6 months to a year to sell those items at full price. It's a very nasty acronym. Okay, let me find it. Did we already take it out, Kathy? I hope so. We don't want anything nasty here. Not allowed. Thank you, Kathy. I'm signing off as well. I emailed you to get your seller's code. Yeah, I'm going to take care of that as soon as I get off. That's the first thing I'm going to do, even before I charge my mics. And add the description to this video. I'm going to send that to you, Leanne. Uh-oh. There we go. uh, Thank you, Kathy. We probably both hit the trigger at the same time. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, 43 people here, 49 thumbs up. If you haven't thumbs up it, please give me a thumbs up. Smash the like button, as they say. And make sure you are subscribed. Let me see the most recent count. Yeah, anybody that wants to send me an email for a seller code, send me the email. We're up to 3,093. Boy, it's going to be a slow crawl to 4K. I don't even know if I'm still going to be doing this, to tell you the truth. I mean, I got 2 more days in May to really up my what's going to come in June 21st, and it's significantly lower than the earnings from April. Significantly. So, yeah. I mean, not doing this for the money, but, you know, I was supposed to do laundry today. I didn't do laundry. In the last few weekends, I can't get into my laundry room. There's construction out there during the day, and you can't get around the construction. So, yeah, I just was like, let's talk about all the ridiculous stories that are out there. And I do need to correct when I process, well, not YouTube will process the replay, but when the replay comes on, I will put a comment in there about disregard what I said about the Brian Etten videos, because apparently I got sucked in to a fake channel today. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate that. Thank you, Rochelle. Okay, everybody, you're awesome. Thanks for coming. Love you all. Have a good night.